All right, what's up, guys? This is another episode of Conversation with Jeezz. We are here in Erie, Pennsylvania. I got my brother Kevin with me.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all be?
We met like last summer.
About to say last summer, Burton.
Last summer on the basketball course. If you know me, I love basketball. Um, I've when I came to Erie, how I get to know a lot of people. I just came to all the basketball courts I could go to, and just met people. And I met guys like him. He's in the basketball content. If you guys are interested in any of that basketball content, what's your Instagram and social media stuff?
So IG, it's my last name dot first name Flemings FLEMINGS .Kevin. That's IG. Uh, and my YouTube number 2, spell 5 out FIVE 8. Follow both of them if y'all can. We going all crazy all summer.
Definitely follow those. So what kind of got you into the basketball stuff? Do you play basketball in high school or what happened?
I'm gonna be honest with you. So as far as like hooping in high school, middle school, any of that, nah, never did none of it. Always loved hooping. I never really cared for it like on a serious type level. But I will say that because of Kobe, because you know what I'm saying, my dad a Lakers fan.
Favorite player, Kobe?
Nah, I never played Kobe. You know what I'm saying? I played in Kobe's. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Close thing, but you know what I'm saying. My dad he a Lakers fan. Naturally, I became one. Kobe really just kind of became my favorite player like real quick. I always
Period.
idolized you know what I'm saying everything about him. So it just made me kind of just really like basketball for real. Honestly, I just started liking it more and more, and I just really love the game for real. I just love the game. I love meeting people through the game, and I like getting better at the game for real. So
Yeah.
that's really just how I came across it, honestly.
What made you kind of like getting the content though?
So as far as content, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always dig basketball content. So I've always watched hoop mixtapes, YouTubers like my boy Devontae Freegan. Always watched a lot of him on the come up, and so I always said this. I said I ain't gonna lie, no content is gonna be one of the things that's just gonna keep growing.
Right.
And I never thought basketball content, all things, was gonna grow the way it did.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of one of them people where I was like, I want to see if I could, you know what I'm saying, use basketball content to not only push positive messages, but also just get better with it too. You know, because I treat basketball like life. You know, if I can be consistent at something that I love like this, I can be consistent in life, and you know, so you just
Basketball like music, bro. It brings you together. You know, like it's just a sport. This is one sport that brings young, old. You know, both generations kind of together. You know, like just like the love of basketball. You know, like you ain't got nothing going on. That's why it kind of sucks when they take down the hoops. You know, because that's kind of like bringing the community together. You know, like anybody that come out of the court and you'll spend hours out there just balling, bro.
No, facts. I even go out when COVID hit and the rims was gone. That was like the craziest, toughest time for me, especially when everybody was already locked in the crib.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those like in the crib type people. You know, I play the game here and there, I watch TV here and there, but I be outside, whether it's walking around or going.
Staying busy. Facts. I be seeing, bro, you be posting, bro. Like you was one. I remember when the first time I seen you and shit. You came with the cameras, and I'm out there with the cameras. I'm like, yo, let's get busy. Man. And I seen you cooking up. But ever since I follow you on social media, you post a lot. You know, like you be on your content shit. You always posting basketball, and I always tell people and suggest you that's in any type of content to make sure what you're posting is consistent, but obviously posting the same thing. So you get in that algorithm and stuff, you know, because there's some hoopers. And it's my dude Lil. He's in Pittsburgh. I told you he was in Vegas and LA. You know, I want to introduce you to him because he's big on the content stuff, but he does more of the dunking stuff. You know, can you dunk?
I mean, look, it's like this. I'm there, but I'm not there. Yeah. It's not consistent. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I've yoked like probably 2 times my whole life. Outside that, I ain't no dunker though. I don't be getting into it all crazy. But yeah, we working on for real.
I can't dunk. Started pulling up now. I've never been I could dunk back in the day, a little bit here and there, but no more dunking for me. Those days are over.
Man, listen, it's like I can jump when I need to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's up there. I'm up there enough, but I might have to just live with the fact I'm good at shooting, and I'll probably get one more dunk in before I call it quits.
So what do you call what's your like you a point guard, power forward?
So obviously I feel like if I had to be put in a system, you have to put me in the system as a point guard. Thing is, so I'm not strong of a ball handler. I will say that. Like my true weaknesses really is that I'm not confident as a ball handler as I want to be, but I work on that real heavy. And not only that though too, like I don't be looking for dimes sometimes. I'll be looking to score. So naturally I feel like I'm more of a wing type shooter, type shooting guard whenever I play. You know what I'm saying?
Cause you like that.
You hit it with that shit. You give me the ball, I'm looking to get a bucket. Now I don't mind giving a dime off here and there when I can, but I don't be point guard. You know what I'm saying? I really be looking to get a bucket for real.
So who's your favorite player? College basketball? Do you like college or NBA?
I try my best to get into college. College just be so hard because so many games. Same with NBA. I feel like with college though, I got a couple cats out I loved watching the highlights in college and just in general.
Yeah.
One of them was Jabari Parker. He was one of my favorite hoopers in college.
Okay.
Another one was definitely Ree. I loved watching Kyrie in college, but Kyrie also in the league, tough too.
Yeah.
Like I said, Kobe was my favorite player coming up. But as far as current players now, bro, I'm not even gonna lie. Giannis, that's my dog.
That's my dog. He is.
Listen,
Back like
bro,
2 years ago, he was cheat code in 2K.
listen, I promise you,
He going up every
time.
time.
Promise you, Giannis straight cheat code.
Yeah.
I could like a couple of the young cats too, though. Like for instance, obviously Shea, Tyrese, they do anything in the finals. Not Halbert. I was about to say I already said him, but Brunson. Brunson really probably one of my favorite guards in the league. I'm not even gonna lie. He a little body that play like a straight post big man. I really love Brunson. I just, what I'm saying, there's a couple cats in the league I like, but them like my top cats right now, for real.
You guys got some homegrown players straight from Erie. You got Caleb
yeah.
McBride.
Yeah.
Like she's really, like tearing up the game right now. Bro, you watch a lot of women's basketball?
Watch a lot of women's basketball. Funny story, actually. I remember going to the downtown Y. This was during the off season.
Yeah.
Funny enough, she happened to pull up
and
get some runs in with us. That was, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't never been like, you know what I'm saying, what's the word I'm looking for, like stargaze type, you know what I'm saying? But I listen, like it was amazing just seeing somebody, you know what I'm saying, that achieved what she achieved, but she still just hoops in her city, you know what I'm saying?
She comes home.
You know what I'm saying? It's tough for real.
I have a tremendous relationship with Kayla. I just seen her out there. Where was we at? We was in Charlotte. Got to check her out there. What I like about Kayla, is Kayla's from here. She's driven. She's the face of the NWA. In my opinion, really good person. But what I do like about her is that she comes home, and she's active in the city. And she's not like some people, they get on, they got their ego. She doesn't have that.
Yeah.
What I've known about her, just hanging out with her, and knowing her from 1v1, just seeing her in person, that she doesn't have that ego,
Like
she can cook. She can cook. She can cook herself the food. She can cook.
She don't have an ego. She literally lets her whole game do the talking. Like, from WNBA to Unrivaled, like, bro, watching Kayla's game is tough. Like,
when I be playing in 2K, I'll be playing with her.
Listen, I've definitely that's the thing. I've definitely ran with the WNBA in 2K before. I ran with her. I ran with Aces a couple times because outside of Kayla, I love Asia Wilson. Caitlin Clark, I ain't gonna lie, I love watching her hoop too. It's a couple cats though. She played for the Fever also. It really was cousin Kayla and I started watching her some more. I forgot her name. She had a dog on there too though. Dang it. But I like watching the Fever play. I like watching the Liberty play. I like watching the Aces play.
Yeah.
I like watching the Dub play for sure. They definitely need more love.
Y'all have one thing I say about Erie. You guys got good hoopers, and you guys got good schools that are producing hoopers. You got James Conner that came from out here. James Conner went to down here.
Even though for him not to be a hooper, for him to
play football,
for him to do what he did for and that's one thing I will say about the city. I'd be so slept on for on the athletes here because I didn't know Erie actually produced so many, football players and basketball players that they did for real. Like
my brother Will, he's from here. He played for Pitt. I think he's with my bad state. Louisiana.
We'll say,
I think he plays for them now. College basketball. I know he got injured. Great hooper. My young boy Marcus Beck. Shout out Marcus Beck if you're watching this. He played for McDowell? Is it the white and blue team? They're nice. Good hoopers. Matty Harris, he ball. I gotta shout you out. Obviously Mar. But you guys got good schools that are producing good hoopers. And one thing I like our area, is not just Erie, but like anybody that accomplished or made it. Like I'm that person or whatever. If you figured it out, you figured it out.
Facts.
Like I'm hyped for you, bro, because a lot of us didn't figure it out, and a lot of us hate or the egos or whatever. But my biggest thing is like if you figured it out, God bless to you, bro. All right, brother, you on the next one, buddy? Yeah, we gotta get our own 1v1 in.
Hey,
all right, brother, have a good day, bro.
In the morning. I bet.
Hey, yo, hit me on the gram, get my number, bro. Yep. Just anybody that really accomplished their goals, like and coming out of a small city like Erie. For Kayla, for James Conner, for a lot of the guys and women that made it out of here, that's just a small city. That's crazy, bro. And coming back to the city.
And that's what I was going to say too. Like, it's one thing when you already made it out. Like, see, Me, I'm one of those folks where I go. I love my city. I really do.
Yeah.
One of those folks I can't wait to get
It's
out.
a lot of hate.
Definitely a lot of hate, and I just can't wait to get out. Versus those who have made it, they wrote their own story. Follow their own path. They still come home.
Right.
They still show love to the city. I feel like that's also what makes me appreciate the city a little more, and kind of what makes me love it just a little more because I can dislike how much I don't like being here, but one thing I can't take away fact of is I'm from here. I was born and raised.
You can't take that. I can't take away where I'm from. From my child, small city. We got ballers like Alice A. Johnson. He's from there. We got a lot of people that is climbing. Like, and when you from a small city, I'm from a small city like this. The biggest thing from me, it's like there is a lot of hate. Like I got more love tatted on my face. There is a lot of hate in these cities. A lot of egos, a lot of bullshit.
Facts.
But one thing that I decided to do when I got here, like, because I wasn't planning on here being this long, and even though I'm leaving soon, I wanted to bring this shit together. Because there's people that want to divide each other, but if you got even like a podcast like this, be able to bring people together. I'm big on trying to support the next person.
Yeah.
And whether this person don't like this person and this person don't like this person, at least we can do is start bringing shit together. And once you get on, then come back home. Because when I get on, my biggest thing, like I'm not home a lot, but when I get to where I want to get to, I want to come back and put these things in because you got Erie, predominantly, was it mostly Caucasian people here.
Facts.
What I just been reading up on, and they kind of run the city, as far as as far as the money, but as in a city like this where there's not much for the young kids to do. The best thing for us is to open up these spots. And I don't know if I was talking to you earlier. Like they got this little spot. They just opened up in the hood in Little Italy and shit. There's nothing wrong with Caucasian people coming into the city, and opening up a spot. But it could have been us. No, it could have been our community.
No, facts. And I ain't even gonna lie, cause even like, I'm really big on honestly putting and pouring into the city more, especially for the youth.
Because you got to get to these kids. Because let's say they taking down the hoops and shit, bro. Like, like there ain't nothing for these kids to do, bro. Like, you growing up, that's Erie. I didn't know how dangerous areas can be and how these kids. I know a 15-year-old around carrying a 50 clip and shit, bro. Like, these kids they're not looking at it. They're looking into the rap music, and that's why I'm talking about the content creators like Kai Sanaa and Drewski putting on for the kids to do something because you're not giving back. And the reason I bring up the spot that's in the hood, I've been seeing it since I got here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, nobody ever opened on there. And then I just looked at it and they opened it, and I'm like, it looks fire, and it's right in the hood, and it changed the environment. Like you see the white communities always giving back, and the black communities and shit. For instance, not to throw shade, one of my brothers, he opened up a spot. It's in the hood and shit. Yeah. But he kept it hood. Like he kept it like, like he just kept it like kind of like hood and shit. I know exactly what you mean. Homeless people coming up in there, like. But you got a power move. I know people that would love to be in this position and shit. We could have been came in and bought that spot or whatever, back in the black community and shit, and ate from that shit. And wonder why Little Italy so fucked up and shit because the whole strip is nothing but fucking crackheads. It's fucked up. Niggas is trapping and shit. But we could put something in there. And a white dude came in there and opened that shit. Why couldn't that have been us?
No, real shit. And I ain't gonna lie. And one thing I will say about like I feel like when we do open up stuff, I feel like we kind of open up like a little bit too many of the same things. Like, for instance, there ain't nothing wrong with corner stores. I really don't think there's nothing wrong with having your local corner store on the corner. But I feel like we don't have to keep opening up the same exact thing, honestly. I feel like if you have, a love and a drive behind something that you think is different, follow that. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a million soul food spots.
You see the demographic, bro? Like, you ever go through, you driving through the shit or whatever, and you see the hood, and then you can automatically see when it changed up the environment, the grass is cut, the nice houses, shit, storms and shit. And then I see shit, and that shit fucked me up. In the picture, I'm like, damn. When you drift to the hood, you in the hood and shit. And it's fucked up and shit or whatever, because that's where we at. That's where we live at, minorities and shit. And I'm looking at shit.
And it's like, it don't, even if we do stay here, we don't have to let it look like this.
And I'm at the point in my life where I'm seeing shit where, like, I'm not blaming this shit on white people or blaming it on this person, I'm blaming it on us. Sometimes it be us or whatever. Sometimes it be us, whether it's rap music, or whether it's us trapping, or whether it's being in the field, whatever we put on the young boys and shit, because you got to look at the jail system and shit. My majority of it is us. Minorities that are in jail and shit, and it's us fucked up and shit. But the more we bring back to the hood, more that, fuck the hood, upgraded and shit.
Why he choking up my little man, so.
Young boys being bad.
Oh, you ain't go help him out.
Kids me, man. But it's just we gotta change that shit because when I look at the shootings and shit, bro, and I see mostly minorities and shit. We taking each other out, like a lot of times they be blaming on these people, the white people and shit or whatever that be fucking up the community. I'm like, sometimes it be us, and it don't need to be. We just that's why I watch what I put my music.
But that's also like you said earlier too. Like it's just so much hate, and honestly, I feel like the problem.
We the ones with the egos.
Real shit. I feel like the problem is between egos and between hate. A lot of folks ain't trying to put that to the side to really get together and make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, like even like with the whole hoop and shit, like a lot of people claim, you know what I'm saying, not claim, like a lot of people always be like, oh yeah, you better post them clips, like if you get hit, you lose, and like I tell people all the time, like, you know what I'm saying, exactly, like at the end of the day,
I talk shit still.
I only come out here to get better.
Coach of basketball, is that something you ever see yourself doing?
So I definitely feel like, if I keep taking the time to study the game the way I do, you know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, coaches really have a hard job.
Yeah, they do.
You got to know the knowledge of the game. You got to know your players and stuff like that. I feel like if I was to keep studying the game the way I do, and keep that love for it, I could see myself possibly doing it. I don't know at what level.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's one of them things where it's also about politics. If I could start off small, even do like an AAU team or something, that'd be real cool. That'd be real dope. Because at the end of the day, I never really had a chance to hoop, and really just doing this outside. I do this for love of it, just for the fun of it. I'm not here to try to make it overseas. I ain't trying to go nowhere at this point, but just keep following my own path and see where it takes me. But if my path was to take me coaching, hell yeah, I'd do it for sure, for sure. I definitely would. Like I said, if it was something small as an AAU team, I'd start with that. But hey, if I can make it to even something as small as a little elementary school, middle school,
fine.
You know what I'm saying? That I feel like I'd be more than blessed, honestly.
I see you definitely impacting people. I like where you at in your journey. And one thing I don't know if it cut it off. For a long time I used to take certain things personal on the love that I gave that I didn't receive back, or who I was to my friends, or if I would whatever,
I felt that heavy.
I flew to Vegas with one of my brothers or whatever. I go to Boston with my brothers. I go to all these. If you my dog and I really got love for you, I will go. I'm gonna be beyond for you to show you support because I know that we need that. And at one point I used to take certain things personal, and I realized that's my insecurities. That's where I'm lagging at. It's not them or whatever, because whatever I'm giving, I don't need that back. But if I'm expecting something to get back to me and shit like that, it's my insecurities. And if I don't like a post, or if I get annoyed at somebody posting or whatever the case is, it's my insecurity. There's nothing wrong with them, whatever it is. I have some type of insecurity, and I had to realize that my cup is full, and that I'm gonna continue to pour into the world, regardless if it gives it back to me. And one day I'll get my flowers.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? One good thing about that is, same with me, it's about taking accountability for those things. Yeah. A lot of people will have those issues where as far as it's mental, physical, and they won't take accountability at all for it. They can blame the world when in reality is, sometimes where you just gotta really take responsibility, blame yourself, because it's really just you. And, knowing that it is insecurity, it's the same with me. Like, but there's times where, I get upset even at my friends where I feel like, the situation should have been different, when the reality is it didn't have to be different. I didn't have to take it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And that definitely falls on my end. So it's also about being human too. At the end of the day, taking accountability is also, it's like I said, it's one of the big steps, but we all human. It's going to happen to us. We're all flawed, and, we all going to naturally have those feelings at the end of the day. But as long as we not living truly to those feelings, you know what I'm saying, being hurt forever, as long as you can kind of like take it, realize it ain't that real, throw it behind you, you're going to be good at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, we can't really take, if they're friends, if your friends are really your friends, definitely never, you know what I'm saying, they're going to fall out, bro. Y'all never going to fall. They're going to keep rocking with you to the end, for real, for real.
So. That's one of the words for this podcast, accountability. Continue to pour into the world regardless of what it pours back. We got my dog Kevin or whatever, he's here, born and raised Erie, heavy into basketball. If you guys need any inspiration, or if you guys want to cook up or collab or do any type of content, make sure you guys get with him. Good dude. I truly believe that you're gonna do some big things in life, as long as you continue to be who you are. continue to impact, and stay on your journey. Because a lot of people, like I said in my last podcast, they're living in the matrix, they're living on autopilot. They're so worried about where the money coming from. They decide to live their passions, and you somebody that's on your passions, bro. You on your purpose, regardless, you still continue to do that. At 70, you're not gonna be regretting this. You're gonna be like, damn, I did what I love to do this whole entire life, and you ain't gonna be in your rocker like, damn, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Regardless of what you perceive as being successful or accomplished, like I see myself as already being successful. I accomplished what I wanted to do.
Facts.
Now do I want the money and I want everything else? Sure. I want to see my brother come home, sure. But like right now, I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy to continue to do my thing. So
And I felt
I'm proud of you, if anything, bro.
Appreciate that. And just even end off on that, honestly, just like you said, success is how you want to take it. And me personally, I was one of them folks where I would look at everyone's success and I would try to compare. When in reality, as long as I'm happy in my own skin, as long as I'm happy with the things I have accomplished, and even the things that I do want to further accomplish, wherever I've set my own finish line at and finish at, I just gotta learn how to be happy with it. Simple as that. So if I want to set my finish line today and cross it today, I gotta learn how to just be happy with that. Of course, I'm not setting it today.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, like knowing that my race ain't over. You know what I'm saying? This really ain't a race. Like Nipsey said, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
I'm taking my time with everything. I'm just enjoying everything,
Continue to
smelling the
climb.
flowers, getting through. You know what I'm saying? Putting my feet in grass and loving the fact that I get another 24 hours to rewrite this story every time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's another episode with Conversation with Jeezz. Like he says, not a race, it's a marathon. Like I always say, continue to climb. And if anything, it's more love.
Jeezz. Love, be easy, y'all.